like legit.
Okay, so now, Lafel, we're gonna go straight in over to the drafting stage, and don't mind me if I just gonna go and ramble on, because this is what I really want to see. Because once it reaches down to that match point stage, ALPHA7, perhaps they were kind of on a little bit of experimental stage in Game of One. Round robin. I've always been talking about this. It's always round robin, round robin, round robin. You can hear that over and over again. There's a lot of experimentation that goes on. So perhaps, especially going up against Onic Indonesia, you gotta have to find a little bit of their kryptonite, especially since the introduction of Savero and Ryota that join into the fray. But for now, let's talk about this. We've got Onic that is going to be on the first pick, first ban, and ALPHA7 comes in shortly afterwards. With the Mathilda, Joy, as well as the Phovius that will be joining into the banning phase. We will not be seeing them anymore. But in the meantime, the Fanny as well as the Luoyi has also joined in. Kalia is not seen anywhere just yet. Not only just Kalia, actually. Kalia, Suyo, Jusin, Harith even, and perhaps even, we saw in the previous game, the Hanzo is currently not included in ALPHA7. Now, we'll be focusing down onto getting that Kalia being banned out. So great, no more of the Kalia. No, actually it's not great. Lafel and I want to see more of the Kalia, but maybe not today anymore. Maybe not today. Perhaps game number 3 if ALPHA7 Esports did manage to get themselves game number 3, that is. But with the Suyo that is being picked out from the side of Onic, it's always a very good blind B1 pick. Whenever you go for the B1 pick, look for something that is comfortable, look for something that is great. Especially since when it comes down to jungle, you'll have one thing to do: secure objectives. Securing objectives is more of the name of the game in the later stages on, and with the execution style of an ability that Suyo has within of his kit, it allows Suyo to be uncontested in most of these objective taking, well, unless you bring a Bauman into a mix, which, well, let's be honest here, that would happen in the near future. But picking up the Suyo also means that you will be leaking some of these other crucial heroes over to the side of ALPHA7 Esports, and that is the Jusin as well as the Harith. So unfortunately, that is all going to be given away. And Onic tried and tested, the Sicilian worked out, and they absolutely loved it. With a very early first blood that has been credited over to Sans, they are going all ham and going up for the R3 pick onto the Sicilian. Now it's going to be left with the next pick. They have already gotten the mid laner as well as the junglers. So it really just boils down to more of a supportive role that they're going to be looking out for. Late game essentially has already been locked down by the Sicilian. As such, Cho, great pick. Since Kalia is no longer available for Keyboy for the taking anymore, going out for the Cho, this will enable more of that pick-off composition that they absolutely want. And if they do want to extend more of a lockdown timer, they do have the Sanguine Clause that comes in shortly afterwards. In fact, these three are kind of like the, how can I say, the creme de la creme, piece de resistance kind of thing, going out for these three. I love what Onic has got for themselves, but it doesn't exactly mean that, okay, we're going for a specific lineup, we're going for a specific playstyle just yet. So definitely going to be keeping ALPHA7 Esports scratching their head for a little while longer. I've been rambling a lot. I'm sorry, Lafel, but
hey, no, it's all good, man. I love it. I love it. Now ALPHA7 Esports picking up the Nolan. I was saying that, you know, get him on something comfortable. I hope this Nolan is something that he's really comfortable on. And my only worry is that their early game doesn't look all that great.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh man. Okay. So at least when it comes down to looking at Nolan, I do enjoy the fact that Nolan will always want to be ahead of the curve. In terms of jungling speeds, you do have quite a lot of ways that you'll be able to shave off time in order to pop off a little bit earlier than Onic. So as much as possible, you always want to pop off in the early stages, which puts Onic in a very tough spot. At least for the EXP laner, you need to have that advantage. You need to have that early game advantage. With the Lucas as well as Jawhead already be taken out, I would say that early game Hilda might still work out for Onic.
Something about a Hilda, man. I don't feel good about Hilda anymore. Like, I watch a lot of MPLID games, and it always doesn't look well. and it's translating to Mobile Masters, man. Like, get that mommy out of here.
Get the mommy. Mommy, please. Hilda. Honestly, I can't think of anything else that will fit the bill all that well. Yes, you can still kind of put CC into the mix. Just to be a
Experience
link.
the euphony of
I
suffering.
honestly, at this point in time,
Wait, for who? For
actually,
who?
I think for Onic, I still say I was just thinking that having a lane bully onto Onic would work out well, so that it will be at least
Badang is
enabling the
open.
EXP laners to go out. But down is open.
Yeah, Badang's open. Focus has been banned a lot. I didn't see this coming, honestly.
And
Yeah,
it's
Badang,
pretty
CC.
sad as well.
Yeah, honestly,
Even
I'm
if it's
pretty
small.
surprised.
So at this point in time, Blue, CC, Hilda, as well as what
The
was
power
that
of
again?
Leo is within my
Badang.
hands.
All four of these are open. As such, Takashi immediately picks up onto the Badang, putting ALPHA7 Esports in a pretty good spot. They do have
Yeah.
quite a bit of a balance when it comes down to physical and magical damage. So I think I am still rocking with their lineup.
Allow me
Looking pretty
to
good.
lead the charge.
Don't pick up a Hilda. Oh my
It's
god!
time to
Okay.
and burn this
Okay.
wretched
Okay.
world.
I think that is the answer that we are looking out for. In fact, time after time again, even in the first series, Hilda just proxied the entire lane, and no one had an answer to it. Maybe it's not had no one had an answer, but it's more the fact that they don't want to answer that. And I think that Onic possibly wanted to go for the same playstyle. They want to proxy like no tomorrow, and Badang wouldn't even have any ways to, well, positively deal with it unless they pull the Kingzilla out of the jungle as the Nolan and kind of shake off that curve that Nolan's supposed to have and enhance the lead in pathing in the jungle.
My mission is to
So
protect
far,
lives.
like, and then they pick up the high loss. The high loss is
Oh.
going to be
The Roma.
EXP.
Wait,
so Vanguard is
EXP?
gonna be. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Like the high loss is a good matchup against the Hilda. Honestly, even the Badang is a good matchup for the Hilda because the most annoying thing about Badang Hilda matches is that Hilda wants to dive in, right? Where she will use her first skill to either initiate or back off, and the Badang just keeps spamming his first skill, so the Hilda doesn't even come close. And if she gets too close, you fist break her into a wall, and then everyone can just target her down. So that's just one of the things that I personally don't like the Hilda, just because at one point it really does feel like a 4v5.
All right, so with that all said and done, we've got the full lineup, and hopefully that ALPHA7, with this lineup, it will be a little bit more smooth sailing as opposed to the previous game. You know, previous game, they also kind of want to bank in on the early game lead that they have, or rather, they want to bank in on early game leads. Right now, with the Nolan as well as the Badang, and technically speaking, they also do have Hylos. Hylos is pretty great, pretty technical at late stages as well. Juicin just making sure that Keyboy would not have that easy of a entrance to the backlines of ALPHA7.
The most amazing thing about the high loss is that he can slow down Onic and speed up ALPHA7. That's one of the primary ways that they can potentially lock down Sans. Because if Sans already used the flicker, then he can just charge in, bring in Vanguard, bring in Syndra, bring Kingzilla, and then it's all up to Syndra just to pull someone back in. So this is why I like, hold on, Gusta Lagusta taking a lot of damage. If Kairi was level 4, 100% would have killed Gusta
100%.
Lagusta there.
Now, one thing that I always forget when it comes down to Hylos is the fact that, okay, we'll hold on for a second as we've got Ryota that actually finds himself in a pretty oppressed spot, and Keyboy himself as well. ALPHA7 is very engaging and a lot more aggressive this time. But back to my point, I really want to remember and remind everyone that when it comes down to Ring of Punishment from the Hylos, additionally to the Dom Eyes, it is a really good answer to heroes that really want to go for attack builds.
Oh yeah, yep, for sure. So Savero might have a hard time. Unless they just really focus on Takashi. But honestly, looking at the lineup, I don't think they have a lot of bursts for Takashi. So Takashi should not die early.
Yeah, but the only problem that I see is possibly with such a big wall from Takashi, he might actually just overstay his welcome because yeah, he can take shots after shots. That also means that stuns will be giving shots after shots and just really building up a lot of those tanks over a long time. But in the meantime, Kairi is gonna be the first person to be taken down, in fact, by the hands of Takashi. While we are on that note, we do have the Lord that has been taken. Lord, the Turtle that has been taken away by Onic. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1 trade at this moment.
Yeah, now Severo, he might know what's coming up. Vanguard now level 4. They're gonna force engage onto Severo. He's not surviving this one. Or am I eating my words too soon? Severo trying to get away. Gets a kill onto Vanguard. Severo!
Oh, Severo!
Is he? Oh my god, what? What?
Gustala Gusta's going up next.
Dude, what is that? Cassacres, I say he's gonna die, he gets a double kill? What's up with that?
Hey, look, this is LaFell speaking after all. Have you forgotten your brand?
Dude, yeah, but he got ganged by 3 people. By a Badang, by a Jushin, and by a Harif. And he got a double kill. Let that sink in. Oh my god. Bro.
Damn.
I mean, Keyboy helped for one of those kills, but still, dude.
It's Severo. It is all on Severo. We gotta hype this up. This is potentially the last game. Let's not forget about that. And ALPHA7, they didn't have a very good game in the previous one. They would want to bank it all in for this game just so that they have a little bit of a lifeline by getting a little bit more points from this round robin stage.
Yeah, dude, that thing should get clipped. You know, Onic should clip that and be like, look at our boy. Look at our rookie. You know, he's really popping off. 4 minutes in, he got his first item.
Gonna be going pretty much ham. And let's not forget, I think that the Spear of Destruction should be coming in anytime soon, especially since Takashi and Vanguard, I think that they have already been spotted out by Onic. Whenever possible, if they really want to pick up this fight, they can very potentially be able to, especially since we talked about the fact that Severo did manage to pick up quite a few items already. A lot of information is given away. Onic has himself for a lot of a lead, but in the meantime, Great Carpet is just going to be taken out for the side of Takashi, hoping they will be able to deal enough damage over to the side of Ryota. But Ryota, he's just walking away with half HP. He's not afraid at all. Sanguine Claws connect down to Takashi. He's walking away, but unfortunately, that is going to be the way. The Dragon just going to be connecting down right onto Vanguard, and now he's still gonna be staying alive. But in fact, it is Ryota that finds himself taken away and taken down throughout all of that. It would have been great if Severo joined in the action with the Spear of Despair.
I feel like that's a lot of wasted potential coming from ALPHA7 because when Takashi opened the glorious pathway in the first place, I feel like they could have hard engaged and they really could have gotten a kill. And then Vanguard, he was able to catch 2 people in fist break, and then he was using the fist crack. He stopped the fist crack so early because he had a lot of HP. He was not on the verge of death. I really feel like he should have stayed his ground, and then at the last moment, he used the flicker to get away. So I don't know. I kind of feel like ALPHA7, that they should have gotten more kills. That's my opinion.
Well, possibly so. I mean, there is definitely some of these small little opportunities that we're hoping for. But speaking of opportunities, Kairi jumped in on the Kingzilla, found Kingzilla, and Keyboy unfortunately did not quite manage to touch onto him just yet. But in the meantime, down in the bottom lane, small little skirmish, but it's not gonna end to it's not gonna fall to anything bad.
Blue team turret has been destroyed.
Looking at ALPHA7 at get his turret bottom, Vanguard using the conceal, probably just to push Kairi away. Speaking of which, do you know that this is the current trend of using conceal? Really just to push people away. Like, you don't even catch them. Just by
pop it.
Yeah, just shing, and then people are like, oh no, someone's gonna catch me, so we get priority over the bushes.
Ah. Wait, what the hell? That's not supposed to work that way. But I guess this is more of like a mental fortitude.
Yeah,
At one point in time, I'm just gonna wait for that one moment in time. The team just be like, you know what? Come at me. Do it. Do it.
Severo now having the golden staff. So this time, the Spear of Destruction will deal quite a lot of damage. Not in terms of the spear itself doing damage, but meaning like when he arrives, a lot of damage can come in. So ALPHA7, despite Onic looking very good, there's really no big difference in terms of the gold lead. ALPHA7, they have a drive. They can start fights, but they're not starting fights here.
I mean, I guess they are making use that by getting themselves a little bit more advantage over the turtle and getting themselves that priority. In fact, priority indeed. Kingzilla gets the turtle while that red carpet just kind of blows it all the way down, ensuring that Takashi is just pushing everyone else away.
Yeah, but do you see how much HP Takashi lost? You didn't,
Actually, I have
because
no
he didn't, right?
Oh.
Onic does not have the damage, so that's why I kind of feel like ALPHA7 should have just, forced. They really could get some kills. Like this.
Speaking of forcing, like this, yes! This is gonna be jumping on Keyboy, but unfortunately he does have a Jikundo to get himself away from all of that. But take a look at the knockup! Oh, Vanguard as well as Takashi knocked up, and these are the two front lines from ALPHA7 that has been taken down. They sought our advice, they went for it, only to be punished by Onic. Where did all that damage come from? Severo?
I give up, man. Like,
LaFell, maybe not make calls like that.
I stand my ground. They just couldn't do it, okay? Maybe it's really in a Southeast Asian in me. Like, I can see, like, dude, we can fight here. It's like, oh no. Yeah. Maybe watching the games, I'm becoming more Indo.
Well, technically speaking, in terms of meta, MY and ID's matches are quite similar, right? So maybe learn a little bit of BI. I think you can blend in pretty well.
Yeah. Speaking of which, right now, Onic definitely scaling up quite well. It's a very slow game compared to most of the other games we had today. Almost 10 minutes in and only 6 kills in total. Sun's now having the Wishing Lantern definitely will deal quite a lot of damage onto Takashi. So Takashi is the tankiest boy, now not so much. So I kind of feel like his window has stopped, has shrunken. Opportunity loss, whatever things you want to say regarding the same act of rooginess. Rookies in Malay, by the way.
Yeah. In the meantime, we do have the lot that's going to be contested from the side of ALPHA7, but here comes Keyboy with a kick. But unfortunately, Kyrie is the one that steals it right under the nose of ALPHA7. That picks up 2 kills, more make that 4 kills. Coming in from Onic, they have got everything away and out from ALPHA7, while Onic didn't even lose a single person from their onslaught.
Red team turret has been
3,000 gold lead. This feels like a 7,000 gold lead, man. Like, Onic came in, got absolutely everything. Like, ALPHA7, they started the Lord, and then Keyboy came in. Keyboy,
and then
Kingzilla. And then once Keyboy kicked him, it was a free Lord for Kyrie. Severo came in, did Severo thing, got a few kills, got a few assists. Actually, no kills, but assists.
Honestly, that was kind of wretched, right? I mean, Onic entered that fight with, if I'm not wrong, about 700 gold lead. Like, only 700 gold lead. As such, right after the battle, with the Lord advantage and all of that kind of jazz, they have effectively racked up a total of 5,000 gold lead just within, 30 seconds of a team fight? ALPHA7 now probably don't even have any ideas to gauge what kind of lead Onic has got. So very likely they are going to contest for this, and they would want to defend whatever that they could before losing out every single one of these full defenses.
That moment shows in business you just need to go viral once, and then your sales will skyrocket.
I'm looking out for
Red team base turret has been destroyed.
That's the kind of sales that I want. But bottom lane inhibitor turret is gonna be taken down by a quick little split push from the side of Severo. 12 minutes in. This is the kind of gameplay, or rather, this is the kind of, I guess, pacing that we're kind of expecting from this game. Especially since ALPHA7, they are a team that kind of want to bank in the early stages because of the amount of pacing that they have gotten, or rather, the amount of pacing that they could have got through the Nolan. And I think that they didn't really manage to make full use of the fact that they drafted a Nolan jungle for themselves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the initiation coming in from ALPHA7 is, lack of a better word, very weak. Now Keyboy kicks Takashi, and Takashi is supposed to be the toughest boy. But we see a team fight coming in here. Riona is very low. Syndra gets killed onto Keyboy. And now ALPHA7 gets a good fight, but unable to really do more out of it.
Yeah, and just like that, Takashi actually lost half HP within a very short amount of time. I gotta have to say that throughout those entire battles, it's more of Takashi trying to get a really a hold of how Onic gonna do with them. Onic definitely have got all of the answers for ALPHA7's lineup at this point in time. They don't even have got the damage anymore to deal with Onic. Takashi can tank a lot of damage, yes, but I don't think that they have the means to really secure this Lord, and Onic's probably just gonna give that to them.
Now we can see Ryota getting locked up by Vanguin. But the Zaman Force already has been used. Oh, it hits! Savero goes in! Savero wants Vanguin! And now Savero wants Gusta Lagusta. Killing spree for Savero with one good Spear of Destruction. Onic now controls the Lord.
Oh man, 2 deaths from the side of ALPHA7. Well, only 1 death from the side of Ryota. Throughout all of that fight, it really just boils down to Onic just kind of retreating a little bit, giving ALPHA7 that false sense of success, the false sense of confidence. And then shortly after, within a single snap of a finger, they launched immediately onto ALPHA7. Leaves no time for ALPHA7 to even respond.
Yeah, for me, it's just a little too weak coming in from ALPHA7. Like, at this point, they got a little bit courageous starting a fight. But at this point, it's like, you know, your damage falls off. Onyx defenses has risen. They can get some kills, but they should have gotten that kills much earlier, because I want to talk about how their engagement. Takashi hasn't really engaged much. Vanguin hasn't engaged much, and Syndra and Kingzilla is just waiting. Like, guys, do something so that we can follow up.
I think that one of the other things that Gusta Lagusta is having a little bit of problem with really boils down to that Sanguine Clause. Because the range of a Sanguine Clause is huge. In fact, it envelopes almost like 80% of the entire Zaman Force, which kind of puts Gusta Lagusta in a very tough spot to remotely be able to do anything once you drop down the ultimate.
And now Takashi is holding the ward just in front of their base. It looks like he is successful. Takashi just received quite a lot of damage here.
It's gonna be tough. With the only turret in the middle lane standing, ALPHA7 Esports, they need to hold this down as much as possible. That is still about 100 seconds until the Lord eventually comes up. But Onic, they are not in a rush. They know, okay, we have an ever-skilling Sicilian that will work for ourselves. So why kind of rush it when we know that we are guaranteed a win in the later stages in the end game?
Yeah, they can legit just wait for Lord. While waiting for Lord, just give space so that Sans can get free stacks, because again, like, it's just gonna be good. Now Takashi, Lord is halfway in front, but just trying to slow things down. Zaman Force being used to clear out the minions. Gusta Lagusta trying to deal as much damage as he can, but he's in a very rough spot. Like, if he overextends, he's gonna get taken down by Onic.
Yeah, especially since I think that ALPHA7, they don't have a very good way to catch on to someone. So Gusta Lagusta doesn't have a very good person to really focus down. They can't just lock down as much as possible. So Onic, they do have quite a bit of ways that can just with the high ground from Sicilian. It's kind of tough to get to close the gap to remotely be able to do anything to Onic.
And looking at the items for Sicilian, the only item left that he can build is either go straight for the, like, sell the Elegant Gem and maybe pick up something like Punishment or an Immortality, or just complete the item for Elegant Gem. But looking at Wishing Lantern as well as Divine Glaive really does make it so that Takashi can't take the damage coming in from Sans, because stacks, sure, high. whatever. But the effects coming in from Wishing Lantern and Divine Glaive makes it so that
Right.
if you have high defense or high HP, you're gonna get taken down. Takashi has both, so he also is gonna get taken down pretty fast.
It's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Takashi will die
Exactly.
anyways, especially you're going up against Sans. And Sans just even picked up the Lightning Trinket, so
Damage.
he's even managed to, find more people. Boom! Everyone's just gonna be knocked down in an instant. Like as though Sans don't do enough damage.
Yeah, like again, I thought he had enough, so just pick up like an Immortality or Winter would be fine. But he's like, nuh-uh, they're not touching me. I'm 0 death. Which, to be fair, yeah, no one's touching him.
Yeah, no one's touching Sans at all. Now that you mentioned it, no one's literally going over to the back lines, especially since the only one that can realistically be able to just jump over the back lines is Kingzilla. But so far, the gaps between the front lines of ALPHA7 to Sans is probably a little bit too much, and that's probably also too much for ALPHA7 to handle, to the point that they have to play a front-to-back game instead of Kingzilla just zipping over to the back lines and just dealing with the main problem.
Now with the Lord marching in, Zaman Force has been used. ALPHA7 is gonna try their hardest to make sure that the game doesn't end. Here, Sans gets killed onto Banguin Savero, free hitting from the side. Monster Spear Bolt Kyrie, and now they're gonna end the game. ALPHA7, nothing can be done. Onic ID closes the day with a 2-0.
Oh boy, Onic, Indonesia. They truly managed to show what they are really capable of, especially when it comes down to game number 1, right? It's very clear that they know what they want to do, and they made it a very... I'll say that it is a sweep in game number 1. Game number 2, undoubtedly it is longer, but it plays within of Onic Indonesia's playstyle. That is what they're drafting for. Sans is going crazy. In fact, didn't even die a single time. Didn't notice until LaFell pointed out that one. So it's a really unfortunate state for our friends over at ALPHA7.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're starting a little bit later, so hopefully they use that time to